Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
A new program that allows NAIT's trade students to earn their degrees faster.
Something that I've always wanted.
Edmonton's police force requests additional funding from the city.
We're just whipping through that money like left and right.
And some Albertans receive a major award for their community work.
And this has just been amazing to me.
NAIT NewsWatch starts right now. Good evening. The Edmonton Police Service is requesting more funding to hire more officers to help keep the city safe.
However, as City Council decides on where to draw the line, most of the councillors are questioning whether the additional funding for the police is even necessary. The Edmonton Police Service presented the request to City Council on Wednesday. The police are hoping for an additional $20 million in their budget that would go towards maintaining service costs and hiring on more officers, including 6 new homicide detectives and 12 community patrol constables.
We want to get to a comfortable place where we can respond as a police service to all the needs of the community.
City Council is already trying to decrease the overall drafted budget to save as much as possible. The mayor also says that the city has provided additional funding for police in the past and felt extra funding this year may not be realistic.
We're just whipping through that money like left and right, so I think it's important to see what's left for council to allocate is pretty minimal when you come to the budgetary process.
Overall, City Council is looking for ways to shrink the entire budget to avoid a 5.5% increase of property taxes. On average, Edmontonians would have to pay almost $100 extra every year, an idea not everyone agrees with.
And although I live in an apartment, that just means that my apartment rate could probably go up. No, I didn't know that, and I don't like that either.
The other goal of the budget is to help restore older neighborhoods and to improve public services, such as public transit and snow removal here in the city. City Council will have a public hearing on November 26th and will form a decision on the budget in December. This is NAIT NewsWatch.
Help fill a labor shortage in Alberta.
NAIT is offering a transformative approach to education that will allow certified tradespeople to earn degrees faster. Our reporter Stephen Cresswell joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
The new Trades to Degrees educational pathway is starting with 1 degree option and was presented to the public on Wednesday.
Something that I've always wanted, so it's just a motivator for me.
Bonnie Eamon is a certified parts technician and one of the first 22 people who took advantage of the degree option last fall. For the first time, NAIT's Trades to Degrees pathway will allow certified tradespeople to jump directly into the 3rd year of a degree program.
If you want a degree and love to use your hands, become a tradesperson. Then continue your post-secondary studies.
With many trade supervisors and managers retiring, there's a shortage of tradespeople with degrees to fill these roles. NAIT believes this solution will help Alberta become more globally competitive in creating a skilled workforce.
NAIT is the first institution in Canada to offer this opportunity to students, making NAIT a leader in education.
The Minister of Advanced Education, Stephen Kahn, believes NAIT's model will be adopted not only by post-secondaries throughout Canada, but throughout the world.
This is a real example of Alberta innovation in the post-secondaries, and it's something we're so very proud of.
The Trades to Degrees pathway will reshape Alberta's trade systems.
As we move ahead, I think Alberta needs to be more of a knowledge-based economy. We need to be investing in the infrastructure and the services that are going to support students so that they can have the careers that they choose to have.
Right now, the only Trades to Degrees option is the Bachelor of Business Administration program. However, additional programs will be incorporated in the future.
Will this change people's perspectives on careers in the trades?
The Minister of Advanced Education, Stephen Kahn, said that this should be a game changer. Previously, people who wanted to further their education in the trades had limited options. If they wanted a degree, they would need to start from scratch. That's not the case anymore. In fact, now, trades could be seen as an option that opens up both career and education possibilities.
So would this influence the trades workforce?
Yes. With this new option, people who weren't attracted to the trades before may consider it for the first time. This will diversify the industry and, as a result, create new ideas and innovations.
Thank you, Stephen. That's Stephen Cresswell live from our news center.
Over the last decade, bullying has expanded from the schoolyard to online social media sites. This week, youth and adults alike discussed ways to prevent the everyday occurrence. National Bullying Awareness Week kicked off Tuesday at Louise St. Laurent School with a live cyberbullying prevention webcast. Albertans young and old were invited to join the talks online.
We thought this was a great way to bring people together, united as Albertans, really across the world, to stand up to cyberbullying.
Panelists for the event presented the different sides of cyberbullying and ways that Albertans could combat the growing problem. Internet safety and ways of supporting victims were also discussed. To join in on the talks, visit bullyingawarenessweek.org.
Some Albertans were honored with a once-in-a-lifetime medal, reflecting on their contributions to the community. The Diamond Jubilee Awards took place Wednesday at the Shaw Theatre. Premier Alison Redford and Lieutenant Governor Donald Ethel were in attendance for the ceremony, which honored those with significant contributions to others. One of the recipients is Harriet Uni, who is still serving in her community at the age of 94, and she is proud of everyone who received an award.
I was just thrilled to death, and this has just been amazing to me to see and meet all these people that have done so much for Alberta.
The medal marks the 60th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's accession to the throne.
Some Edmontonians have been honored for their quick thinking. The Royal Canadian Humane Society handed out bravery awards, saluting those who put their own lives at risk to assist others. 26 people from across Alberta earned these awards.
The Bronze Medal for Bravery is awarded to Daryl Krushelnicki,
including Daryl Krushelnicki. Daryl drove his Hummer into the path of a speeding driver, saving the lives of 4 children.
It wasn't really a thinking thing. It was just a reaction, and I'm just happy to say everybody, including the driver of the other vehicle, was injury-free.
The annual event has been honoring brave acts since way back in 1894.
Today marks World Prematurity Day, honoring babies struggling to survive due to preterm births. 3-month-old McKenna was born 26 weeks into gestation. McKenna has undergone multiple surgeries for her lungs, heart, and bowel. Her family has been with her through the rough ride.
I'm starting to burn out, yeah, but we still got to keep going forward. I mean, you do what you have to do for your children to be okay.
Premature babies have low survival rates, often suffering from long-term physical and mental complications. However, medical contributions have improved the outcomes.
The survival now is closer to 30 to 40% instead of 20%. About 50% of the babies that survive are normal and are completely, they can function normally in society.
Almost 1 in 10 women in Alberta will deliver their babies prematurely.
A 13-year-old girl had her wish granted by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Raven has been fighting with thyroid cancer for just under a year and wrote a letter to the foundation asking for a chapter shopping spree. On Tuesday, her wish was fulfilled as she was able to dive into whichever book she wanted, which made the entire family happy.
This is her Disneyland. She's in her glee right now. To see her there picking those books off, she's just thinking when she can get home and start reading.
It was the first time that a recipient of the Make-A-Wish's promise has requested books, but to Raven, they're more than just words.
They've been my escape. Like, when things get stressed, I read, and it helps calm me down and helps me think.
Raven and her family will look to the books to help turn the page on her difficult battle with cancer. Coming up after the break, NAIT hosts the 7th Annual Polytechnic's Canada Showcase.
Students from 9 different institutions present their applied research projects.
As a community, we all showcase the kind of applied value that Polytechnic students can bring to any industry sector in any part of this country.
The Eskimos are done for the season. Head coach Kavis Reed gives us a look at the team's future. Plus, I hit the courts to play some volleyball. All that and more coming up in sports.
After a cold start to November, we've seen a warm-up in temperatures these past few days. Find out how long that'll last coming up in weather.
Last week's snowfall is good news for 2 ski hills here in Edmonton.
Rabbit Hill and Sundridge ski hills have been open since last weekend. Rabbit Hill was undergoing final preparations for this weekend on Thursday. Derek Look expects a big turnout as the skiing season officially kicks off.
With the amount of phone calls we've had, the amount of emails, inquiries that we've taken, we're expecting a pretty big crowd. We should have probably, 11 to 1,200 people here over the weekend.
Meanwhile, at Sunbridge, families have been flocking to the hills, taking the opportunity to ski and snowboard in warmer weather.
We opened on Saturday, very early actually for us in the year. We got our snowmaking off to a really early start, and it was a great open. We had lots of people out enjoying the snow, both fresh snow and all the snow that we made.
Snow Valley will also be joining in the ski hills in Edmonton as they start up this weekend.
We take a look now at the weather, and Adam, it's definitely been warming up these past few days here in late November, so it's something I can get used to.
Yeah, I mean, last week it was really cold, and now it's starting to heat up. Goblin Nung joins us outside for weather, and how's it looking out there?
Yeah, it's looking great out here. I mean, we've had these mild temperatures all week long, and that's mainly due to this warm southwesterly flow that's been keeping that cooler air off in the Pacific. As that warm air slides off, though, that cooler air is going to start settling in Tuesday, Wednesday. But for tomorrow, we'll still be seeing warm temperatures, so let's take a look at the boards. Starting in Calgary, we have a high of 5, low of -1, partly cloudy. Over to Jasper now, they might be waking up to a slight chance of flurries, high of -1, low of -7. In Fort McMurray, we have a high of -2, low of -5, and mostly cloudy conditions there. And in Edmonton, we'll be waking up to -4 and warming up to 2 in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy throughout the day. The average high is 0 on the dot and a low of -7. For your records, we have 17 in 2009 and -38 in 1896.
Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
So if you haven't put out those Christmas lights yet, this might be the weekend to do so. Temperatures are expected to drop 10 to 15 degrees next week.
I'll take that advice, Goblin. Thank you very much.
Likewise, I'll get on it too. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
NAIT played host to the 7th annual Polytechnic Canada Student Applied Research Showcase on Wednesday.
The competition brought together a collection of projects showing off some students' hard work. Heather Grant reports.
Teams from 9 of Polytechnic Canada's colleges and institutes presented their research projects to a panel of judges.
They had 5 minutes, 5 slides, 1 chance to make an impression.
Emily Chrysanthu, a 2012 graduate from SAIT's Mechanical Engineering Technology program, presented the adapted bobsled roll cage to Wednesday's audience. It is meant to assist para-athletes competing in this often dangerous sport.
In the event of the collision, the roll cage is just there as preventative measure to keep the driver from hitting their head on the ice.
The group of 4 began their research based on a request from the Alberta Bobsleigh Association. Similar to SAIT's project, other groups were approached with problems that companies needed solved.
Our client was SEER, and we are currently being funded by BCIT's Discovery Park Research Grant.
The research projects ranged from monitoring overall hand hygiene in healthcare facilities to an interactive game aimed at improving student participation in class. After presenting their work, the judges directed their questions at the students.
So does your sandwich design get more heat out of it than the other designs that are currently being looked at for patents?
All of the students were thanked for coming out, but Conestoga took the overall win for a handheld device that measures minerals, making mining more efficient. As for Emily, she's thankful for this opportunity.
It gives a little bit of closure to how far we've come on the project today, and it throws into contrast how much further we have yet to go.
The group hopes that with the addition of their roll cage, adaptive bobsleigh will be included in the 2018 Winter Olympics in Korea. Heather Grant, NAIT NewsWatch.
We move on now to sports with our reporter Annika Notfate, and I understand that you covered some local sporting events over in Sherwood Park.
That's right.
And you know the Eskimos down and out for the season, but NAIT sports team's doing pretty well.
That's right. The women's soccer team actually came home with a bronze medal from nationals, and yeah, I covered some local sports. All that and more coming up right now. The CFL Western Finals, Stamps against Lions, And in the East, Argonauts against Alouettes are taking place tomorrow. However, our Edmonton Eskimos are sitting on the sidelines after last weekend's loss and quite literally sitting their quarterback Mac Nichols after his ankle injury. Not the best way to end the year. The Commonwealth Stadium is empty as the Eskimos pack it in for another season. Kavis Reed reflects on the team's loss.
This was a very educational season, and the sun came out this morning. Despite the fact that we're still very disappointed by the end, the sun did come up, and there were a lot of lessons learned from it.
With the season over, they can now focus on hiring a new GM for the upcoming year. Sherwood Park Crusaders took on the Lloydminster Bobcats at home this Wednesday. The game started out with a dry first period. Other than a few blocked shots for both teams, the back-and-forth action was even. The pace was faster in the second. Crusaders' Danny Smith sneaks the first goal in off a rebound. Followed quickly after with a scramble in front and a goal by Bobcats' Braden Crone, tying up the game with 8 minutes left in the second. Before the third period started, some live entertainment came out on the ice. Little takes on trikes. Getting back to the game in the third, both teams came out fighting for a win. Equal time in both ends had everyone guessing until the final minute of the play. With classic tic-tac-toe setup, a pass from Destin LeBrun, Jason Wark snaps it top shelf and scores. With only 1:21 left on the clock. The Crusaders tried to squeeze in one more goal, but couldn't quite make it happen. Bobcats played a very solid game defensively, came home with a win. Second star of the game went to Lloydminster's Chase Martin, who had 35 saves.
I think for a goalie, that's kind of the more fun games, I guess. They're always in your end. So
every game for us counts now. It's a tight playoff race, and we want to be in there.
Lloydminster is on the road tonight, while Sherwood Park plays at home again tomorrow. Bev Facey High School in Sherwood Park is 12-0 this season, going into the provincial semifinals. They play the Spruce Grove Panthers today and are ready for it. For the past 5 years, the Falcons have played in the semifinals. After an undefeated season, Facey's coach gives credit to a great teamwork
At the end
ethic.
of the day, it just speaks volume to our guys. We've been in a few dogfights this year, and our guys have responded every single time. As a program, we've got a bunch of high-character guys, especially in grade 12, that have led from the front, and that's been a big difference maker.
The Falcons are looking forward to showing what Coach Martin calls a high-flying attack offensively and a sound defense. Winning the Northern title could move them to a provincial championship next weekend. The Ooks women's basketball team is ranked 6th in Canada. This marks an exciting time because the Lady Ooks Hoop Squad hasn't been ranked in 35 years. This team has been 3 years in the making. A 4-0 start is a good place to be at the start of the season.
So this is a nice step forward. We returned 10 athletes from last year's playoff team, which is a good core to build off of, and then we added some nice pieces in the offseason. So we're excited for where we're headed.
The team is strong on and off the court.
I've never been on a team my whole life like this. We all love each other. We do something weekly and monthly. We have a lot of team functions, and this is the year. And we don't want to stop here. We want to keep going, kind of thing.
This weekend, the women are away playing Medicine Hat in Briarcrest. You have to be fit for any sport, but as I found out in this week's End Zone Challenge, volleyball takes a special kind of fitness. There's a lot of skills involved. I admire the players diving on the gym floor. They make it look so easy, but trust me, it's not. Check it out. Volleyball is a court sport involving passing, setting, and hitting. These skills are crucial to the sport. Allison Murrock, a setter for the Ooks, shows me how to do them successfully, starting with her best skill, setting.
Make sure you have nice intense fingers. Make them as big as you can, kind of like turkey hands, and you only want the ball to touch right here.
We moved on to passing, a skill you would use when receiving the ball and setting up hitters. I learned a few things about passing.
Keep them more straight and just cushion it instead of swinging. Don't when you do a set. Nice and soft. And now we'll do hitting.
Right, left, and then you put your arms back, swing up with both arms, and then...
Allison showed me an example of hitting, and then she set me up. Next, we did the painful part, diving.
Out, You get used to it and then get a lot of bruises on your hips.
The floor sure doesn't cushion your fall. I'll remember to wear knee pads next time. Lastly, we served. Throw the ball up, extend your arm, and hit it hard. After all this excellent teaching and training, I asked Allison what position on the team I would play.
You'd probably be libero. You work on your diving.
Liberos pass and dig the ball. Okay, maybe I can live with that. This has been Annika Nothate with End Zone Challenge. Yeah, I just want to give a huge thanks to the UKS women's volleyball team and Allison for teaching me how to do those skills.
Well, Annika, it certainly looks like you had your hands full out there.
Sure did.
And you know, I mean, that diving looks extremely painful.
Yeah, I think you need a little more practice to get it down.
Yeah, that makes some sense.
Awesome. Thank you, Annika.
You're welcome.
Coming up after the break, we decorate a delicious holiday treat.
See how we fared in the Christmas Bureau's Gingerbread House Decorating Challenge.
I mean, if it wasn't for the power and the spirit of the Christmas Bureau, there's people that wouldn't experience the season the way that they do.
Next up in entertainment, we head to a Rock Legends concert, and I'm headed underground. Find out where to after the break.
NAIT NewsWatch jackets provided by Bramco Contracting.
Christmas is just around the corner, and with that comes building gingerbread houses.
Kevin and I competed in this year's Christmas Bureau of Edmonton's gingerbread house building competition. We got the chance to take part in the fundraiser's annual kickoff. The goal of the Bureau is to raise $1.8 million to feed 65,000 hungry Edmontonians. Event organizers were thrilled to have one of the best turnouts in history.
And if it wasn't for the power and the spirit of the Christmas Bureau, there's people that wouldn't experience the season the way that they do.
News teams from all over Edmonton had the chance to compete for different awards, such as for the most festive and showing the most team spirit. If you would like to make a donation, you can visit their website at christmasbureau.ca. Well, this week in entertainment, our reporter Emily Fitzpatrick rocks out at a concert.
That she does. And we also take a look at a bar that is the dream for a beer lover. We have all that and more coming up in entertainment.
Thanks, guys. Rock legend Alice Cooper gave Edmonton an eyeful on Wednesday night at the Jubilee Auditorium. Fans of all ages came out to see the 67-year-old rocker do his thing and bring the house down. Cooper's career has been going strong for more than 4 decades, and his age hasn't seemed to slow him down, with a performance that lasted more than an hour and a half. In the words of Wayne and Garth, we're not worthy, we're not worthy. A new bar has joined Edmonton's downtown scene and is hoping to make people a little more beer curious. The Underground Tap and Grill opened its doors on the 1st and has 72 different craft beers on tap. General Manager David Helms says a lot of people are coming in that are used to beers like Kokanee, and Underground is a great place to try new things.
Had a really eclectic group of people come in here, young, old, just people who are interested in craft beer and people who are just curious about beer.
The bar supports 3 local Edmonton breweries, Yellowhead, Alley Cat, and Amber's, and they're looking to add on a 4th.
I love all of the locals. They make great beer, and there's something that I really think all Edmontonians really need to support.
The bar also has a full dinner menu and a variety of other options if you're not a beer fan. Underground is located on 100th Street and Jasper Ave. Be sure to check it out. Concrete Theatre, formerly known as Catalyst Theatre, is kicking off their new season with a play, The Smokescreen.
Don't walk away from me. Is this a setup?
The play by David S. Craig focuses on adolescent drug culture and the rocky relationships between adults and teens. In Smokescreen, we see the relationship between Trent and his father Jeff, and Ray Z, the youth care worker, trying to help them work out their issues. You can catch the final performance tonight at 7:30 at the Concrete Theatre. The play is also performing at junior high and high schools across Edmonton until the 24th. It's been 4 years since the start of the Twilight franchise, but the saga continues this weekend with the release of Breaking Dawn Part 2. We saw Edward and Bella meet and fall in love in Twilight. We lost Edward, but we gained werewolves in New Moon. We met the Volturi, and there was a marriage proposal in the Eclipse. And finally, a wedding and a baby in Breaking Dawn Part 1. The conclusion is finally here. We meet Bella as a mother and as a vampire.
My time as a human was over, but I never felt more alive.
In Breaking Dawn Part 2, the Volturi think Renesmee is an immortal child, so she must be destroyed. The Cullens put together an army of their own to protect her.
I have to report a crime. The colonies, they've done something terrible.
Thinks Renesmee is an immortal child.
She was born, not bitten. She grows every single day.
My family's in danger. I need your help.
You are an amazing woman.
We'll join you.
Pax will fight.
Don't let anybody hurt you.
Breaking Dawn Part 2, now in theaters. Twilight fans are excited for the conclusion. Be sure to go get your tickets. I have mine. In celebration of his next 4 years in office, the internet gave President Obama a little gift. Well, maybe you could call it that.
My true wish in the well, don't ask me, I'll never tell. I look to you as it felt, and now you're in my way. I trade my soul for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way. Your stare was holding grip, Gina's skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where do you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, babe. But here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys try to chase me.
Escape that song. And you know what? I don't mind. That's all for entertainment. Back to you, Kevin and Adam.
Thank you, Emmeline. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's show. We hope you have yourselves a wonderful weekend.
We hope that you tune in next week. You can also check us out on our website, NAIT NewsWatch.ca.